Next up, let's welcome Megan Miller, co-founder of Biddy. Hopefully you guys got to try some Biddy in the back.
Hi guys, I'm Megan and I'm the co-founder of Biddy Foods. We're making high-protein foods for the future using an unusual and wonderful ingredient, cricket flour. So, as you may be aware, we're facing a global food crisis. In the next 50 years, there's projected to be an extra 2 billion people on the planet, and at our current rate of agricultural production, we're not going to be able to produce enough food to feed everyone. The most challenging nutrient that we need in the human diet from an economic perspective is protein. It's actually very difficult to grow the amount of protein that we need with the amount of land and water resources that we have right now. And economists are saying that by the year 2050, beef will be priced like caviar. And the price of beef actually hit an all-time high in 2014, and that's not going to reverse anytime soon. So innovators in places like Silicon Valley are racing to try and solve the protein problem. You may have seen this startup that is pictured here. They're actually making burgers with stem cells. And there are a number of other startups that are working on innovative solutions using laboratory technologies. But we think that there's an interesting alternative by harnessing a biomass of protein that already exists on Earth: edible insects. In fact, 80% of the world's cultures already eat insects, and it's really only North America and Europe that is the holdout. And we thought that it would be very interesting to try and see if there was a way that we could bring this extremely sustainable protein to the United States and sort of rebrand insects and turn them into something highly palatable and even something that people would consider a superfood and get very excited about. So this dish that you see is actually served at Noma, the #1 restaurant in the world in Copenhagen, and there's a movement all over the world toward incorporating edible insects into the diet. But we think it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get the average American to consume whole insects because there's a visual barrier. So we think that the solution to that could be in turning insects into a powder and incorporating them into familiar foods that everyone likes. Maybe you had a chance to try our cookies. If you didn't read the signage, they are full of crickets. But we've got some amazing PR. What could be better than an endorsement from the United Nations? In 2013, the United Nations released a report saying that edible insects could actually be a solution to the global food crisis if everyone were to adopt them into the global diet. And here are some of the there's supposed to be some reasons why. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so if edible insects became a regular part of the global diet, we could cut up to 33% from the average food price. We could reclaim some of the 1/3 of the earth that is currently used for agricultural production of meat and the grains that those animals eat, and we could save up to 18% of the world's greenhouse gases. So let's look at some of the statistics that show why edible insect protein is an interesting alternative to other protein forms. First of all, edible insects are extremely drought resistant. Crickets in particular, which is the insect that we're focused on at Biddy Foods, they use only 1 gallon of water to make a pound of cricket protein. It takes 2,500 gallons of water to make a pound of beef. And if you're thinking that vegetable protein is the best alternative, it's certainly a wonderful alternative, and we should eat more vegetables. But you should also know that soy protein takes 250 gallons of water to make 1 pound of soybeans. So there are other alternatives that we should consider when we're living in drought-stressed areas like California. This is also, I'm running out of time, so I'll move through this quickly, but crickets also use much less land than other animals. They like to be clustered together, and in farms, you can grow a lot of crickets in a small amount of land. So this is cricket flour. This is our ingredient, and what we're doing is removing the visual barrier to eating edible insects by incorporating this into all of our foods. And it has a very nutty flavor that's a little bit like buckwheat, a little bit earthy, and we make it by dehydrating the crickets and then milling them, just like you would coffee. And our first product that we launched in 2014 is a line of cookies. We have 3 flavors of cookies, and we're going to be introducing a full range of food products that are all based on cricket flour. They're all grain-free and gluten-free, so they adhere to the paleo diet and to people who have wheat sensitivities. And we use healthy fats and unrefined sugars in all of our products. And we have been able to launch this product line with the help of celebrity chef Tyler Florence, who became our culinary director last year. So I look forward to talking more with you about Biddy Foods. This is me and my co-founder, Leslie, and you can find us in the cookie booth area in the back if you want to try it for yourself. Thanks.
Excellent. All right, hands up high. In the back, yes, sir.
Did you say you can certify them organic?
Well, right now there's no USDA certification for crickets, but they are being fed organic food, and we're working with a food safety consultant on that issue. So I hope we'll be able to certify them organic sometime soon.
Can you use the flour in other kind of dishes?
Yes, we actually sell a ready-to-go baking flour as well on our website, and it's a mixture of cricket flour, tapioca, and coconut. It's still totally grain-free, but you can use it cup for cup in any recipe.
What does your label say? Does it disclose cricket flour? Or does
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there's the FDA regulations on cricket flour are that you need to say what species of insect you're using. So it says cricket flour, and then in parentheses it names the 2 species of crickets that we use.
What is the protein quality of the crickets, the PDCAST score?
Sorry, who asked me that question? Can you raise your I'm sorry. The protein quality of the crickets, it's almost identical to shrimp protein. They're a part of they're crustaceans, so they're a close relative of shrimp, and it's very similar in all nutritional facets.
Where does PETA come down on all this?
Well, you know, PETA hasn't really weighed in, but we've had some interesting interactions with our vegan community, and it's about split down the middle. Some people don't want to eat edible insects for ethical reasons, and we totally respect that. And then other people who are vegetarians believe that the sustainability benefits are great enough to outweigh any questions that they might have. And we also are very careful to humanely harvest our crickets. So they're sort of anesthetized before we harvest them by putting them into a cold room where they fall asleep.
And I suspect crickets will come over here to your left.
Oh, there you are.
I suspect cricket flour will take off. Are there other insects on the menu?
Actually, there's 1,900 different species of insects that people eat all over the world. We're focusing on crickets partly because they're already commercially farmed in the US, and they're very, very scalable. You can take crickets from egg to adult in just 6 weeks, and they're super tasty, but they're using lots of interesting insects in some of the fine dining restaurants around the world.
So you mentioned you're going to have to rebrand your insect. I'd like to know what your branding strategy is along those lines.
Right. So we make our packaging colorful and friendly and beautiful, and especially accessible to women, because a lot of the purchasing power in American households comes from women. So we try to stay away from branding that's particularly macho or focused on the adventurous eater. So you'll notice our logo is even a little bit feminine. We don't want to go too far in that direction either, but it's very gender balanced and friendly, and a large portion of our consumers from our website are moms. So it's a very popular product with moms and young kids.
Wait, do I hear crickets?
Awesome.
One question. Where are your farms, and are they easy to farm? I mean, is it problematic? You were saying the USDA don't have an organic label. I'm guessing the USDA doesn't have much advice to help you out.
Well, we're using all U.S. farms, and there's several that have come online in the past couple of years that are raising insects just for human consumption. And there are other farms that have been raising crickets for, 50 or 60 years in the U.S. that have been doing it for the pet food industry because you might feed crickets to your pet gecko or something. And so if those farmers want to participate in human food, they need to get all of their farming in line with the USDA standards for health and hygiene, and they need a HACCP plan and all of that stuff. So there is a body of knowledge about raising insects, and we've also been looking to the Dutch for guidance because there's a lot of wonderful research coming out of, I'll terribly mispronounce it, and I'm sorry to all the Dutch people here, but Wageningen and something like that, yes.
All right, it looks like we're out of time. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thanks,
Biddy.
everybody.